Sometimes a really small change on a bill can kick off a huge debate. We're talking about money, about what's fair, and what a tip even means anymore. And for the cruise world, it all kicks off with this one number. 20%. Yeah, it doesn't look like a whole lot on its own, does it? But on your next cruise, this number is about to make some serious waves on your final bill. So what's the real story here? Well, here it is. This is Carnival's new automatic service charge. And trust me, it's a bigger deal than it looks. For years, it's been a steady 18%. But starting in December 2025, it's making the jump to 20%. And it's not just for a few things, it's going to be on almost everything you buy on that ship.
Okay, so let's get down to it. What does this 20% hike actually mean for your vacation budget? Let's break it down.
And we're not just talking about your margaritas here. This 20% charge is getting slapped on everything, your Cheers drink package, every single drink you buy at the bar, that fancy steakhouse dinner, and even those little gifts and treats you decide to order to your room. It's comprehensive.
This 20% thing, it's really just one piece of a much bigger, much more complicated puzzle. To really get what's going on, we need to dive into the wild world of cruise ship tipping.
So, first thing you got to understand is the daily gratuity. This is totally separate. It's a flat fee they charge you per person every single day of your cruise. This is supposed to cover all the service staff, from your amazing room steward to all the hardworking folks you never even see, like in the kitchens and laundry. And remember, that new 20% charge is on top of this. So, how does Carnival's daily rate stack up? Well, looking at this chart, at $16 a day, they're actually cheaper than their biggest rivals, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian. But, and this is a big but, when you start adding that new 20% service charge on top of all your onboard spending, you can see why passengers are starting to feel a little bit of a squeeze.
And this is where things get complicated. It kicks off this huge debate among cruisers. On one side, you have the automatic system. I mean, it's easy, right? Set it and forget it, and it makes sure everyone, even the behind-the-scenes crew, gets a piece of the pie. But on the other side, a lot of people argue for tipping with cash. It lets you directly reward amazing service, you know exactly where your money is going, and frankly, a lot of crew members say they'd rather have the cash in hand. It's a real tug-of-war for passengers.
Okay, now we're getting to the real core of this whole thing, that massive gap between the profits the company is pulling in and what the crew is actually earning. It really begs the question, whose job is it to bridge that gap?
$1.8 billion. That's the profit Carnival reportedly pulled in during a single 3-month period. Just keep that number in your head as we start talking about wages.
And you better believe passengers are noticing. But as with everything in this story, it's not quite that simple. There's another perspective. For many crew members who come from countries with very different economies, $800 a month can be a life-changing amount of money, far more than they could ever hope to earn back home. This is where the global economy crashes right into the cruise ship, and the whole idea of a fair wage gets incredibly complicated. So with all this going on, where does that leave you, the passenger? Pretty much stuck right in the middle, trying to navigate a maze of corporate responsibility, personal fairness, and just trying to enjoy your vacation. It's a lot to think about when you're supposed to be relaxing. This one Reddit user just nails it with this phrase, tipping fatigue. It's that feeling, right, where it seems like you're being prompted for a tip for absolutely everything. It's not just on land anymore. When you're on a cruise, it can make these mandatory charges feel less like a genuine thank you for great service and more like just another sneaky fee. And this isn't just, a vibe people are getting. There's actually data on this. A study back in 2015 looked at what happened when Carnival first brought in automatic tipping. And what did they find? Customer satisfaction actually dropped. Now, it wasn't a huge fall, but it was a real measurable dip. All right, so let's tie all of this together. What's the bottom line here? This 2% hike, it's about way more than just a couple of extra bucks. It's really a perfect window into some of the biggest, most heated debates happening in the entire cruise industry right now.
It all boils down to these fundamental tensions. You've got massive corporate profits clashing with crew wages. You've got the passengers' desire for convenience battling against their desire for control over their own money. You have this impossible question of what a fair wage even means in a global workforce. And maybe the biggest question of all, what is a tip even for anymore? Is it a reward for good service, or is it just a way for companies to subsidize payroll?
So yeah, that's the question we want to leave you with. When a tip stops being a choice and becomes automatic, who is it really for? Is it for the crew? Is it for the company? Or is it for you, the passenger? It's definitely something to chew on next time you're planning a cruise.